This is Really with your host, Aurelia. And I think today's topic will entirely cover the 97th Academy Awards that aired last night. There was a lot that was happening. First off, Conan O'Brien hosted the ceremonies. I've been a long time fan of his. And earlier today, I watched the opening monologue on YouTube. I've said before, I don't have cable, I don't have streaming services, and I'm okay with missing the broadcasts. But I saw Conan's monologue and I thought he killed it. And I gotta say, I think, because as a person who's always watched the Academy Awards throughout the years and the various hosts they had, Conan, and this is not from a biased position, his was the best opening monologue of the 21st century. Just my opinion. I loved his energy. I thought his jokes were funny as usual. The delivery hit. If you watched his late night shows, either on NBC or TBS, you could tell, like, with the opening sketch, it's very late night coded. So I appreciated that. As I said, the jokes landed, and the one that got the most attention was the one on Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Basically, Conan had joked something saying, Kendrick calling out Drake as a pedophile. And I thought it was funny because the way he did it was tactful. And then right after the bit, he says, "It's okay, I lowered up." And that made it even better. So, Conan never misses. Will we see him again? Who knows? But I thought he was great. And so, moving on to the actual pictures and actors nominated. As you know, there are 10 that are usually included in the Best Picture nominees. 15 years ago, I believe this is when it was introduced, maybe 10 films. You know you're getting old when back in your day it was only 5 pictures nominated. But I've only seen The Substance, starring Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. And to me, I highly enjoyed that film. I saw it in the theater. Everything else is just basic. I mean, let's start with Wicked. I know there are fans of that musical, but I have my opinions on the stars. I have my opinions on Disney. But looking at the list of Best Picture nominees, okay, let's add Wicked. I'll accept that. The Substance, great movie. I wouldn't have seen it winning Best Picture, but that's okay. The third one is The Biggest Crime, Emilia Perez. I just learned the plot of this film today, and it sounds ridiculous. And basically, it's about, it stars Zoe Saldana, and she's like, she knows a person that's involved with the Mexican cartel. Like, he's the boss, and it's basically, I don't want to get in trouble. It's GBT pride plus propaganda. But Emilia Perez, Zoe Saldana, it's about, like, working class women. I don't know. And she knows a guy that's, like, the head of the cartel, and this person gets a sex change. This is a real plot. not being shady to the GBT plus community, but I like today I saw a clip from the movie on TikTok because that film won Best Original Song, and everyone has been, how should I say it, roasting this movie for how bad it is. And I finally saw that clip of that song that has been viral on TikTok. And it's the biggest, ridiculous GBT plus propaganda. And it's not even good. Like the music and lyrics are not even good. It's mid. It's. I don't even. Where do I begin? And I know Zoe won for Best Supporting Actress. I liked her as a person. I think she is a good actress, but for this film, I don't know where we went wrong. But of course, this film premiered on Netflix. You don't even have to tell me anymore because we know that's Illuminati, and I have my reasons. We'll get to that another time. So yeah, Emilia Perez. I have no words. The next one is Anora, and this is the actual film that won Best Picture. And last night I went on a rant on TikTok after finding out it took the big prize. The actress that stars in the film took Best Actress over Demi Moore in The Substance. And I was just, I don't want to say talking shit, but as a person who has watched the Oscars for a long time, knows celebrities, how, the influence of celebrities and actors in Hollywood, I basically said that this actress, nobody's gonna remember her in 5 years. I don't understand. I had seen this movie like here and there, but I never looked deep into it. Like I never saw anyone giving a review on TikTok, anything. So it just didn't come in my circle, and even if it did, I still wouldn't have seen it because we'll get into it later. But Honora is supposed to be about, like, I don't know, a sex worker. That's all I know. And I'm hearing some divided things. Like, people like it and people say it's so mid, so bad. I turned it off. And I want to agree with the latter because Honora, like, what? But okay, I'll take that over Emilia Perez. The next films, I'm just gonna give a brief breakdown because Hollywood is just so boring. A Complete Unknown. That's the Timothée Chalamet film where he plays Bob Dylan. I was talking shit last night. No one wants to see that. Conclave, about the Catholic priests. Not my territory, so I'm not gonna like comment any further. The Brutalist. Oh my god. As you know, Adrian Brody won Best Actor. So this is his second Academy Award after winning in 2003 for The Pianist. I thought that film, The Pianist, was really good. It's very sad. But it is interesting. Someone pointed out that both movies end in ist. So, yeah. And I was hearing that people didn't like this film either. It was boring. That it even has an intermission. Like, what? More on that later. I wrote here there was a movie nominated called Nickel Boys. I don't even know what it's about. I could look it up. It's so irrelevant. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, what is this about? Because it's the first time I heard about it today. And then the other films, I don't know if this one was even nominated. I'm Still Here. It got me thinking of the one that documentary, the mockumentary starring Joaquin Phoenix. If you know, you know. Like, I was like, that title? I'm pretty sure this is the same title. I'm Still Here. So yeah, that is the best picture nominees breakdown. Oh yeah, special mention to Baby Girl starring Nicole Kidman because Conan O'Brien mentioned he really enjoyed that film. I almost went to see it, but yeah, I pass. I love Nicole Kidman. I love her. And I feel like she was missing because she wasn't nominated, the movie wasn't nominated, and the Oscars are boring without her. We needed her. We needed her. As I said before, like I'm a big time fan of watching the Oscars, and like it's just not the same. Hollywood movie making has just dwindled. Like I remember in 2009 being heavily focused on watching every picture nominated. And I'm in high school. You know, I went to see The Wrestler, The Reader, Slumdog Millionaire, Milk, all these movies that came out that year. Like I had a hyper focus on watching it all. And today, you know, with those pictures I mentioned that were nominated this year, who is really investing their time in going out to the theater, sitting down and watching something? Because with ticket prices in movie theaters, just buying one single for an adult, it's gonna almost be up there like $15. And that's before you considering buying snacks, drinks in the theater. That's before considering, you know, all the other stuff that comes with, you know, going out and enjoying a day at the movies. Because who wants to risk spending $15 for something like Amelia Perez or The Brutalist? You know? For me, the substance was worth it. 100. But we know that horror doesn't really get recognized as much in the Academy Awards. But I just think Hollywood is just lacking because who's going out to the movies and willing to spend 20 something dollars for that sit-in experience when we have all these streaming apps? We have free apps where you can actually watch movies and TV shows. There are many ways to get entertained these days, and the theater experience is just lacking. But yeah. And you know, back in the day, as a person who watched most award shows, the Golden Globes, the SAG Awards, even sometimes the Independent Film Awards, the BAFTAs. That's in the UK, but I'm sure if they aired it here, I would watch it. Yeah, it's it's intense. It's fun to watch, but that's just my take on that. Earlier, I was saying about Best Actress. Again, who? What? I don't think this person's going to be relevant in 5 years, but we'll see. The only reason why I'm even making a statement is because I had said that when Demi Moore won the Golden Globe in January for The Substance, she had said that despite being in the industry for over 40 years, this was her first accolade that she has ever gotten. And the woman's in her 60s, and they didn't reward her? What? Weird. Best Actor, Adrian Brody. The guy went on a diatribe. And that's reason 85 of why I don't watch the Academy Awards, because of nonsense like this. We didn't have a humiliation ritual like the slap between Will Smith and Chris Rock. But Unfortunately, viewers were subjected to a 6-minute something diatribe from an actor who has been irrelevant for 20 years. I'm not saying that he's not talented. He's made some great films, but what are you saying? And also, people have been commenting on when he got up to accept the award, like he threw his gum to his girlfriend, who many might not know is Harvey Weinstein's ex-wife, Georgina Chapman. And Randy Quaid, you may know him from Independence Day. I had posted his ex tweet on my TikTok and I blew up. This is what he said about Adrian Brody. FYI, Adrian Brody think Harvey Weinstein's wife and demon children like a scene from The Omen. So yeah, if people didn't know the full context behind it, it's because Adrian Brody is dating disgrace producer Weinstein, who is now rotting in prison. And the last headline that I heard from him is that he has cancer, I believe. And today, Candace Owens actually premiered her Harvey Weinstein series. I saw the first episode. I thought it was pretty interesting because it looks like Weinstein might be getting a retrial, which is crazy. But she started going into the reasons why. And it looks like from her side that even though Weinstein is guilty, he's disgusting. I'm not saying that he's innocent, but it's sounding like this was, how should I say it, a frame of some kind. If you catch Candace's series, I'm sure she will get into that. Going back to Randy Quaid, I also made another TikTok about an ex post he made, which brought me a lot of engagements and likes, which is great. But if you don't know, Randy Quaid was a working actor. He's brothers with Dennis Quaid, who's in The Substance. And the role that I most know him by is in Independence Day. And so on March 1st, he put on X, and this is regarding the death of Gene Hackman, which is a whole other can of worms. Randy said, Gene Hackman and his wife are murder victims. Some scumbags did it and staged it. Stop talking about the films he is in. This is how they get away with murdering famous people. Fake news starts generating film clips. How is it possible? I know at least 6 people who have died, like Carradine, Hackman, Ledger. So yeah, that's a big tweet. But I don't think many people know that around 2010, 2011, he put out a press conference stating that people in Hollywood are going after him. And what did he frame it as? The Hollywood whackers? And in that clip, it's very interesting because I've posted it on TikTok. He says that the industry has set out to frame Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, Mel Gibson. We'll talk about Mel Gibson in another day, but the whole Gene Hackman thing, it's just unfolding. The man was 95 when he died. His wife was found deceased as well. I have been hearing things in alternative media regarding Hackman and supposedly a connection to Epstein. Not that he was a perpetrator, more than that he might have been a whistleblower. I'll look up on that another time, but for now, this tweet he put out. Carradine, he means David Carradine, who was in the Kill Bill movies. If you don't know or don't recall, David Carradine died in 2009 from autoerotic epis, autoerotic autoerotic asphyxiation, which is where when you're in a sexual setting, you put like a rope, a thing around you that cuts off your breathing, and in turn you get, a climax out of that. It's a thing people do, and purportedly this is how he died. And like the rest of us, I just accepted the news as what it was. He might have been freaky and things got a wrong turn. I didn't know much about the man other than he was in Kill Bill, but when I learned that he passed away, it was very sudden and just shocking. But hey, people die 1,000 ways. The Heath Ledger mentioned is very interesting because we all know where we were when he passed away, or you heard the news. I have a core memory of what I was wearing, what I was doing, where I was when I heard Heath Ledger passed away. And it shook me. It shook the world because he had just finished filming The Dark Knight not too long before that, where he played the Joker. And since we're already speaking about the Oscars, Heath Ledger got the award posthumously. As you know, The Dark Knight came out in July of 2008. Big film, big trilogy series for Batman. And Heath died. He was found in bed in his New York City apartment. Purportedly, I think a maid might have found him, and from what I recall, he died of an overdose of some kind. And, over the years, there's been, a cloud of suspicion about his death, that, perhaps somebody he was dating at the time might have supplied him with something. But just like back then, in a way, I just accepted it as fact. Because, Hollywood is not an easy place. Fame isn't easy. People get hooked on all kinds of things. We've seen it, with River Phoenix and other actors who just died too soon. But the fact that Randy Quaid mentioned Heath Ledger should raise some alarm bells. I know for a lot of people, they might think, oh, he's a has-been, he's mentally ill, he's paranoid, as some random person said on my TikTok. And I'm like, who says he's mentally ill or paranoid? Are you a doctor? This is exactly what the machine does. The mass media, if they're controlled opposition, they're going to label, the whistleblower as crazy, unfit, unjust, just crazy. And I don't think Randy Quaid is acting crazy. So, but yeah, I'm now tuning into that man's X account because there aren't a lot of working actors, people in the industry that have been this transparent. One last thing, one last rant on TikTok. I had to talk about the firefighters that showed up on the Oscar stage. And what I'm referring to is, the LA fires that devastated the city. And I said it was just woke because given that the Super Bowl just happened and they have these celebrity centric commercials that have lost their value because everything is, about celebrity. There was one commercial where they were like honoring the LA firefighters, and Tom Brady just had to take the torch and be included. And it's just like, it looked very fake. I know last week, Mel Gibson actually put out his own personal press conference, calling out the accountability of the local government because they aren't helping. And we're talking about an actor and director who has been essentially blacklisted. And it is interesting that Randy Quaid said his name as being a person that Hollywood has been, going after, right? Framing. And seeing Mel Gibson actually care about the residents in the community and calling out the corruption of the government. He doesn't have to do that, but he is. And so yeah, that Super Bowl commercial, for whatever reason, it just didn't sit right with me. And then these firefighters last night were there, and it's like, again, they like to put up this, a unity. Like they're trying to make it look like we're unifying everyone and we're gonna clean everything up and everything's gonna be fixed. But meanwhile, I just told you about Mel Gibson calling out government. Even Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, just announced that he's putting out a podcast in the middle of this. Where's the accountability? It's just bad timing, man. It's giving sellout. Like, honestly, like, you're putting out a podcast while the city is in devastation. And I know that Mayor Karen Bass is getting some flack. There's a leaked audio of her talking about her knowing that something was going to happen days before and then going somewhere on vacation to Ghana, disappearing conveniently. So yeah, I was bothered by the firefighters being on that stage. Not that I was irritated by their presence. I was irritated by this like woke message of fake togetherness. Well, we know that's not happening here, and you're trying to make yourself look good. And on the topic of that, there was a memory that popped up. Not many are going to remember it, but when the film Argo was nominated in 2012, 2013, this is that movie directed by Ben Affleck. I remember it was either Best Director or Best Picture. The ceremony surprised everyone with the big monitors. And Michelle Obama was going to announce the winner. And it's like, at the time I was an Obama voter. And I was like, okay, cool. The first lady is here. And I know, like, when Ben Affleck won, he, like, was, like, amazed. And, oh my God, the first lady. And it's like, when you look back, you think, was this necessary? Why are we including the first lady here? Like, again, with the unification of it all, the togetherness, like, politics and Hollywood meeting, it's just all very leftist. I just have to say, all very leftist. And I think that is my final conclusion to the 2025 Oscars. We'll see how the next one goes. This is really with Aurelia. Thank you for listening.